Have you ever been at a loss for words when someone you care about deeply is facing the end of their life? Perhaps you've stood by a bedside, your heart heavy, wishing you knew exactly what to say to bring comfort, to ease their fear, or simply to acknowledge the profound journey they're on. It's a natural human instinct to want to help, to make things better. But in these incredibly sensitive moments, our good intentions can sometimes lead us to say things that, surprisingly, might cause more distress than comfort. It's a painful reality, isn't it? To think that our words, meant with love, could miss the mark. But what if there were certain phrases, common things we often say, that actually do more harm than good, no matter how well-intended they are? What if there's a secret to communicating more compassionately during this tender time? A way to truly connect without inadvertently creating distance or adding to their burden. In this video, we're going to gently explore 7 common phrases and ideas we often use, and why they can be unhelpful when talking to someone who is dying. More importantly, we'll discover kinder, more compassionate ways to truly connect and offer genuine comfort during this incredibly sensitive period. Please watch until the very end, because I'll share something vital that many people overlook, something that was so quaint. With mi gori weon skinian sankoti manans command someone to rinchkin weons irquas onalds. Matsal ban stirinch, iwan tono. Mriwa skimmerns kujunans arch. Genuinely surprise you with its power to make a profound difference. Let's begin with the first thing we often say that, surprisingly, can create a barrier rather than a bridge when someone is facing the end of their life. This is the well-meaning phrase, "It's God's will," or "Everything happens for a reason." Now, for many of us, our faith is a profound source of strength and comfort, especially in times of great challenge. And if the person you're speaking with shares that exact same belief and explicitly finds solace in that particular framing, then perhaps it might resonate with them. But for many, hearing "it's God's will" can actually feel incredibly dismissive of their very real pain, their fear, or their grief over what they are losing. Imagine someone who is battling immense physical discomfort, wrestling with the unfairness of their illness, or mourning the future they won't have. To suggest that their suffering is part of some divine plan, or that there's a predetermined reason for their agony, can inadvertently imply that their pain is somehow justified or even deserved. It can strip them of their human experience of sorrow and frustration, making them feel like their feelings are wrong or unspiritual. It's as if, in trying to offer a grand explanation, we've actually minimized their current, raw reality. Instead of seeking to explain away their suffering, a more compassionate approach is simply to acknowledge it. You might say, "I am so incredibly sorry you're going through this," or "This must be unimaginably difficult." Sometimes, the most powerful thing we can offer is our presence and our willingness to sit with their discomfort, without trying to fix it or put a spiritual band-aid over it. We don't need to have all the answers. Sometimes, just being a compassionate witness to their pain is the greatest gift. Moving on to a second common phrase, one that often comes from a place of admiration and encouragement. "You're so strong," or "Don't give up." While these words are usually meant to uplift and inspire, for someone who is dying, they can inadvertently place an immense burden on their shoulders. When someone is facing the end of their life, their body is often failing them, their energy is depleted, and they may be battling profound exhaustion and pain. To be told they must be strong can make them feel like they're failing if they admit their fear, their weakness, or their desire for rest. It creates a pressure to perform, to put on a brave face, even when all they want is to be vulnerable and authentic. They might feel like they're letting you down if they express their despair, or simply their profound weariness. Similarly, "Don't give up" can be deeply unhelpful in many cases. Giving up isn't a choice. It's the natural progression of a disease. This phrase can make them feel guilty for their body's decline, implying that their illness is a matter of willpower rather than a physical reality. Consider Helen, a vibrant woman who loved gardening, now confined to her bed, her strength fading each day. When visitors would say, "Helen, you're so strong. Keep fighting," she'd feel a pang of shame. She wasn't fighting. She was tired. She was scared. And she wanted permission to simply be. A far more empathetic approach is to validate their current feelings, whatever they may be. You could say, it's completely okay to feel whatever you're feeling right now, whether it's sadness, anger, fear, or even relief. There's no right or wrong way to navigate this journey. Or offer, I'm here for you, to listen if you want to talk, or just to sit quietly if that's what you need. This gives them permission to be authentically themselves, without the added pressure of fulfilling an expectation of strength. Finally, for this part of our conversation, let's address a phrase that almost everyone has probably used with the best of intentions. I know how you feel. While it comes from a place of wanting to empathize and connect, this phrase can often fall flat, or even be counterproductive. When spoken to someone who is dying, the truth is, unless you have walked precisely in their shoes, facing the exact same prognosis, symptoms, and emotional landscape, it's virtually impossible to truly know how they feel, even if you've experienced a loss or serious illness. Each person's journey with dying is uniquely their own, shaped by their life experiences, their relationships, their beliefs, and their fears. When you say, I know how you feel, it can inadvertently shift the focus from their experience to yours. It can make them feel misunderstood, as if you're trivializing the enormity of what they're going through by equating it to something you've experienced. It might sound like you're trying to compare pains, which is rarely helpful. For someone who is feeling isolated and vulnerable, this well-meaning statement can inadvertently make them feel even more alone. Thinking, no, you don't really know how this feels? Instead of making assumptions about their emotional state, try to focus on their unique experience. A much more empathetic and connecting approach is to acknowledge the limits of your understanding, while still offering profound support. You might say, I can only imagine how incredibly difficult this must be for you. Or, this must be so challenging. Tell me, what's on your mind today? These open-ended questions invite them to share their experience, giving them the space to express their true feelings without any pressure. It keeps the focus squarely on them and what they are experiencing, fostering a sense of being truly heard and seen. Now that we've considered these first few common phrases and the subtle ways they can create distance, let's continue our journey into other well-meaning but often unhelpful expressions that we need to be mindful of. Let's now consider a fourth common statement, often delivered with a sense of trying to find the positive amidst overwhelming sadness. At least you lived a full life. Or, you had a good run. This one is so frequently heard, and it's usually spoken with genuine respect and an attempt to highlight the good aspects of a person's existence. However, for someone who is actively dying, these words can be deeply painful. While it's true that they may have lived a long and rich life, the reality of dying means facing the loss of more life. It means saying goodbye to future moments, to grandchildren yet to be born, to seasons yet to unfold, to simply another sunrise. To hear that they had a good run can feel dismissive of the profound grief they might be experiencing for what they are losing, or what they will miss. It can subtly imply that their life is complete, and that they should therefore be at peace with its ending, even if they aren't. It can feel as if you are ready for their life to conclude, even if they themselves are not. Imagine a vibrant individual, still full of curiosity and love, suddenly facing the end. While their past may have been magnificent, they might still have hopes, small joys, or even unfinished conversations they yearn for. Saying, you had a good run can inadvertently invalidate their current fear, their sadness, or their yearning for more time. A kinder, more connecting approach shifts the focus from an assessment of their life's quantity to an appreciation of their unique quality and your shared connection. Instead of minimizing their current loss, you can express gratitude for their presence in your life. Try saying, I am so incredibly grateful for all the wonderful memories we've made together. Or, your presence in my life has been a true gift, and I cherish every moment we've shared. This acknowledges their value, affirms your bond, and allows them to feel loved and appreciated for who they are, rather than simply for the length of their time here. Next, We address the fifth area where our good intentions can sometimes go astray, offering unsolicited spiritual advice or attempting to proselytize. This is a particularly delicate area. While for some, faith is a tremendous comfort at the end of life, it's crucial to remember that everyone has their own unique beliefs, or perhaps no spiritual beliefs at all. When we impose our own spiritual frameworks, whether it's by saying, "You need to find God," or "Make peace with your Maker," or even by assuming they share our specific theological views, it can be incredibly alienating. It can feel judgmental, as if their current spiritual state isn't good enough, or that they're somehow failing if they don't conform to our expectations. This can be especially hurtful if they are already grappling with existential fears or doubts. Your role as a visitor is not to convert or to preach, but to offer comfort and presence, unless the dying person explicitly brings up spiritual questions and asks for your perspective, or if you know for certain that you share the same. Very specific spiritual practice, and they would welcome it. It's generally best to avoid offering unsolicited religious counsel. Instead, if they initiate a conversation about their spiritual concerns, listen deeply. You might respond with open-ended questions like, "Is there anything you'd like to talk about regarding your thoughts on what comes next?" Or simply, "I'm here to listen if you want to share what's on your mind." If they are a person of faith, you could offer, "Would you like me to pray with you?" Emphasizing the "with" to signify partnership, not imposition. Respect their silence, their own path, and their personal search for meaning. Whatever that may be, our sixth point concerns a phrase that might seem comforting on the surface, but can inadvertently make a dying person feel rushed or misunderstood. "You'll be in a better place," or "You won't be in pain anymore." These statements, while often true in a spiritual sense, or regarding the cessation of physical suffering, can completely bypass the very real fears and anxieties a person might have about dying itself. For many, the better place is an unknown, and the transition to it is terrifying. While they may long for relief from pain, hearing this phrase can sound like you are hurrying them towards their death, or that you are minimizing their current suffering by focusing on its future absence. It can also imply that their present pain and fear are inconvenient, and that they should just accept the better place without question. Imagine someone who is terrified of the unknown, of leaving loved ones behind, or of the process of dying itself. To be told they'll be in a better place doesn't address their immediate fear. It doesn't acknowledge the profound separation they are facing. Instead of focusing on an idealized future, which may not be their current reality or belief, focus on their comfort and presence in the now. You might say, "I wish I could take away your pain right now," or "How can I make you more comfortable?" The focus shifts to their immediate well-being and your willingness to alleviate their current discomfort. Reassure them with your presence, "I'm here with you," or "You are not alone." These words validate their current experience and offer concrete, immediate comfort. Finally, the seventh, and perhaps most subtle, thing we sometimes say to someone who is dying isn't a phrase at all, but rather the act of silence, avoiding the topic, or constantly changing the subject when they try to bring up their dying. This often stems from our own discomfort with death, our fear of saying the wrong thing, or our misguided belief that we are protecting the person by not talking about their difficult reality. However, this avoidance can make the dying person feel incredibly isolated and alone. Their impending death is often the most pressing reality in their lives, and if no one is willing to talk about it with them, they may feel like their experience is too scary, too taboo, or too burdensome for others to acknowledge. They might interpret your silence or topic changes as a sign that you can't handle their truth, or that their feelings are too upsetting for you. Consider a person who has important things they want to express, fears they want to share, or simply a need to process their situation aloud. If every attempt to bring up their dying is met with a swift change of subject to the weather or last night's television program, they are left with their thoughts and feelings bottled up. This can lead to profound loneliness and a sense that they must navigate this enormous journey entirely on their own. Instead of avoiding the topic, dare to be present and open. You don't need to force a conversation about death, but be willing to enter it if they initiate. You could simply ask open-ended questions like, "What's on your mind today?" Or, is there anything you want to talk about, Anse? Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all, but simply to offer your quiet presence, a gentle handhold, or a look that communicates. I'm here for you, no matter what. Giving them permission to lead the conversation, or even to sit in comfortable silence, is a profound act of love. We've covered 7 important things to be mindful of. Now, as we come to the close of our discussion, let's bring all these insights together and look at that final, surprising piece of the puzzle. We've gently walked through 7 common expressions and approaches that, despite our loving intentions, can sometimes create distance rather than connection when speaking with someone who is dying. We've seen how phrases like, "It's God's will," can dismiss deep pain, how "You're so strong" can place an unfair burden, and how "I know how you feel" can inadvertently shift focus away from their unique experience. We've discussed why telling someone they had a good run can minimize their current grief, and how imposing spiritual advice can be alienating. We've also explored how saying, "You'll be in a better place," might rush someone, and why avoidance or silence can foster profound isolation. The common thread through all of these points is not that we have bad intentions, but that our words often come from a place of discomfort with suffering and death, a natural human desire to fix, to explain, or to make things easier. But in these incredibly tender moments, the person who is dying often doesn't need us to fix anything. They don't need us to explain away their pain, or to offer grand solutions to the profound transition they are facing. What they need, more than anything, is to feel seen, heard, and deeply connected. Remember, it's not about having all the right answers or delivering perfectly crafted speeches. It's about offering your authentic, loving presence and making small shifts in how we communicate that can make a truly monumental difference in their final journey. I truly hope this conversation has given you some comfort and confidence for those incredibly tender moments. It's a privilege to be able to offer solace, and understanding how our words land is a powerful step in that direction. I would be so grateful to hear your thoughts, your own experiences, perhaps even a time when someone's words truly helped you, or when you wished they had said something different. Please share your insights in the comments below. Your wisdom helps us all learn and grow together. If this video has resonated with you, if you found it helpful or comforting, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to our channel. We're here to share more practical wisdom and thoughtful discussions on navigating life's later chapters with grace and strength, recognizing the beauty and challenges that come with every age. And here's something that might surprise you. The most important lesson of all, the true secret to offering profound comfort, it's not about having the perfect words. Often, the most powerful and comforting presence we can offer isn't found in anything we say, but in simply being there. Haun. It's about sitting in quiet companionship, holding a hand, sharing a look that conveys love and acceptance, offering a gentle touch. It's about listening much more than talking, and allowing them to feel exactly what they need to feel, whether it's sadness, anger, fear, peace, or profound weariness, without trying to fix it, change it, or explain it away. The greatest gift you can give someone who is dying is your authentic, non-judgmental, loving presence. To simply be with them in their experience, whatever that may be. To show up and remain present in the face of their reality is a powerful act of love that speaks volumes more than any phrase ever could. This simple, profound presence is the true key to connecting deeply and compassionately, offering a final comfort that transcends words. It's about remembering their dignity, their wisdom, and their journey right up to the very end. Thank you for joining me today. Remember, every moment of connection is a precious gift. Live your best life at every age, and love deeply always.